This is so informal, and I love it. This is the first episode of the podcast, and it's called Playing It By Ear. So this vision actually came from Rachel, my wife. Everything I did in my life was playing it by ear, from music to like just going with the flow of things, because a lot of times in my life I had to deal with the cards that had to be dealt with that's outside of my power. And I was like, you know what, let me take a collection of all my life experiences on why I was this successful with little preparation. So I was like, you know what, let me just do it play by ear, because it's not just going to be about me, it's about all these different people that I'm interviewing. So one of the guys that's on my podcast is a good friend, Alberto, a.k.a. Zaxai. Man, thank you for coming down. I pressured him to come down, but it was long overdue.
Like 4 years.
4 years. But we know each other for a long time. I guess you want to share a little bit background about
our history, or just as an artist?
you,
Well, both,
and then how we met and all that good stuff. Because
Word.
act like no one knows who you are.
Okay.
And how we're here, why we're here.
Right. I go by the name Zaxai. That's my pseudo name. I've been an independent artist for about, now 11 years. I started off singing in wedding bands and event companies. I now own my own, but as an artist, I just always wanted to, stand out, and I feel like that's every artist. I've gotten a chance to go on The Voice. I made it to top 24 during season 15, I want to say, season 15.
Kelly first? Kelly Clarkson first?
No, I was actually Jennifer Hudson's team first.
Jennifer Hudson.
And then I went over to Kelly Clarkson's team. And that was just a dope experience just because of my new friends, if you will, from the Post Voice. From there, I funded my own solo acoustic European tour. And that was fun for a while. And then quarantine, of course, COVID hit, and that kind of deterred a little bit of that. I had my first album actually was through Phineas and Finestro's, our joint collab album called Rendezvous, where I got a chance to kind of explore different sounds and ideas, and so the introduction of Zaxai, if anything, starts with just a concept, the name of the brand, and then expanded through Finestro and then through Lynchburg. So this is a full circle moment for me too, in the moment of this here.
And shout out to Jordan. He was actually late night sessions in the old studio. We recorded Roxy one night.
We recorded Roxy that.
It's funny. It's funny because Rendezvous is actually the name of what in French Creole is a
meeting point, or
meeting point.
But a romantic meeting point, right? So
it's funny how the naming convention started. We was at Cold Stone?
Cold Stone.
Yeah, we was in
Cold Stone.
Yo, we was in Cold Stone in Wards Road. So man, we gonna name it. And this is around the time when I moved here from New York, 2016. So he came in here one time, and then he was one of my groomsmen. 2017, I got married. So in between that time, he was working on the records.
Yeah.
And I had songs that I prior produced, never released it. It was just like, it was a fun songs. He was like, we started with Criminal.
Yeah, Criminal.
That was the first song we did. And that song, we kind of like, almost like a coffee shop like this. First of all, big shout out to Love & Co. Taylor.
Shout out to
Loving.
Thank you for the tea.
Thank you for this. This spot is amazing. And the reason why I chose this spot is because this spot reminded me a little bit like Tea Lounge at home in Park Slope. And that's kind of like where we started our production.
Yeah.
We would be in the back with our headphones and a table, and then we would he'll beatbox, and I'll sample him on my iPhone, put him on my Logic, and that song, it was amazing. So we did a lot of our creativity in a coffee shop. So it's just imperative that we had to do this first podcast in a coffee shop.
In a coffee shop.
You know what I'm saying? And this is all about playing by ear. Like everything here, by the way, is not scripted. So everything is coming from the dome and in our hearts. So again, if you don't remember my name, it's Phineas. I don't think I remember saying my name.
You didn't, but your pseudonym would be Finestro, if anything. Phineas, but Finestro too. So I give him pseudos too.
Yeah, so Phineas. So again, thank you guys for tuning in. So where do we begin? Okay, so we did the Rendezvous. EP. It was amazing. It was well suited. It was around my
For the time too.
for the time.
'Cause
Yeah,
it was super pop. It was a super
it was
pop
ahead of its time
project.
because the things that we were doing,
And
especially
features.
for me, yeah, like a lot of people don't know this, but I came from the EDM world. I did a lot of electronic dance music. Ironically, from New York, that was a common
It wasn't.
genre for a producer from New York to create because you're dealing with like European dance music stuff, and then but that opened a lot more doors for me to kind of separate.
Even context. That's 2013,
The
2014.
yeah, 2012,
That was
13, yeah.
yeah.
And hey, and thank you guys, thank you for coming. I just love the fact that I'm able to experiment, and he's kind of like the love child of all my experimentations. And,
Same.
yeah,
As a writer
and
artist.
and that just catapulted both our careers. And I guess one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about, because I watch a lot of your podcasts, interviews. Tell people here, like, how did culture, because, we was raised in the same, family, culture, Haitians in America, in New York. Like, how did the culture influence our, like, output? Not just being New Yorkers, but, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, people don't know, like, we work, we have talent, but we really work hard for this because we had to fight our position in where we are right now. Like, not saying fight with our family, but we have to fight with ideas to get to where we need to be. So can you share people what were we fighting for, man?
I guess that's kind of a two-part question because, the me in 2013 versus the me and now in 2024, I feel like the base of it is just to be heard, right? And just an outlet for creativity. And then, of course, when you become an adult, I'm a grown-up, then you kind of have a lot more flexibility and freedom, but also, experience. And through that experience, you're allowed to kind of express it. But 2013 me, the culture itself, it was, I wouldn't say it pigeonholed us because if anything, we use a lot of our cultural influences, especially being Haitian-American too, who are musicians, especially in New York City. There's so much different sounds, there's so many different cultures, right? But at the same time, you wanted to make sure that you represented the country right. Well, for me at least, wanted to make sure you represent.
It was definitely that pressure for us because we grew up in that
Haitian gospel home,
yeah, like
etc.
because my mom and my dad. What's up, Melee? What's up, yo? Yo, Najee, what's good? See, it's cool. This is why I love this space. It's nice and intimate and cozy. Come up. So we grew up in the same culture, like post Jesus culture, Baptist, Haitian, boom, like
Pentecost.
You can't play hip hop, and it's crazy. It's like we was born in the area where like hip hop was big and R&B swooping in the mid 2000s. So in that we were raised with the iron fist of the Bible and all that stuff. And it's interesting because I'm one of four, the last child, and you're the first child of three.
Yeah, first child of three. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We had similar experiences, and when I want to pick it back off what you were saying, even though we were kind of like in a strict Haitian Baptist culture, we knew that was a foundational standpoint of working hard because nothing was handed to us.
At all.
We play instruments or multiple instruments, we sing, whatever, dance, but that was it for not just an outlet, but it was something that we knew that because we couldn't do it as much, we could now look forward to like investing ourselves. So like, where do you felt like you started having the music bug? Because I remember when I came back from here from school and I connected with you later, like you didn't play guitar, but like you was like explain like what was that music foundation?
Well, I think I always had the music bug, but you're right, to want to take it professionally and to take it just to another level, I would say 18, 19, right? Like around that age group. 18, 19, like I want to say I was part of a gospel group called David Matera and One Accord, and
David Mattea.
Finestra was part of another group called Broken Chains, and we're just like, and even that was kind of ahead of its time because there were like
it was a
young
rock band. It was like a all black rock and roll crossover, like church musicians turned rock and roll band.
like super. You guys, but you were like heavy, and
Yeah,
we were like,
we were.
we were like, what would be the equivalent to that?
It's basically like if you mix like David Crowder and Third Day, but if you had like
that was
Pharrell,
Broken Chains.
yeah,
Ooh,
if you
yeah,
had like
yeah,
Pharrell
yeah.
and like
That was kind of crazy.
crazy like R&B singers singing rock. Like this is like before. Who you know Naomi Rain from? Was it Maverick City? She started. We were in a whole band with her, Mayo bass.
I didn't even know you was with Nate Marine.
Yeah, it was after Mayo left.
Wow, that's crazy.
And was it Carlin on drums?
Oh.
So it was like a super group of all these different musicians.
Carlin
and
is
singers.
now J. Cole's drummer for context in sessions for like
now he's on tour with
who's he called?
Lana Del.
Lana Del Rey. I'm not even surprised.
Yeah, again, these are all church musicians that we came together as a ministry. Like,
Yeah.
hey, let's go to the clubs and play Jesus music, but with auto-tune and some heavy guitar stuff. And that
Before it
actually
became a thing.
It did awesome. And then David Matera, and he was doing that with the Haitian community.
Yeah.
Kind of like what Ty Tribbett is doing now.
It was literal.
But he was
People
doing
are
the
fans
Haitian
of Ty
community
Tribbett.
in
That's
New
what
York.
that was.
And actually, I heard the story with Dave Matera. He actually helped Ty Tribbett get a gig, first time gig in New York.
Yeah.
I heard.
Yeah.
So it's funny how we kind of intersected.
Oh,
He
yeah.
he was in the.
It was different, man. It was just jumping on the. Imagine like going to like regular churches, and then you got like us in blazers and then maybe jeans and some Jordans, and just jumping on the pews like going crazy. but everybody was happy. Everybody got excited. But that was, without me knowing, that was David's influence as well on me as a musician, because then we have the Corey Henrys. Playing keys, and then of course Carlin sometimes, and then Jay Whites, and all these, like I said, massive musicians that tour with these massive musicians, and they're imparting all of that into you. And then David, of course, trying to push the barrier, which he did.
Yeah, he did.
Just for whatever reason, it didn't reach the pinnacle that he needed to. But that's the price you pay when you're ahead of your time. And so that was like the foundation of that. To even die, to regress, that's the foundation. That's the music bug, if you will. But I started so late, 24. My parents wouldn't let me do music full time till I graduated, and then I said, I'm doing it anyway. And then
That's the quintessential
Haitian
household mentality. Like I had to fight my way to like do these gigs. I'm talking about like high profile gigs. Like I'm playing at the Blue Note midnight. Like you know the Blue Note, and There's times I sneak out in gigs. I was like, I'm going to friend's house. I'm going to the studio. I was like, nah, I'm playing this gig, and it's bad because now thinking about it, I was like, wait, time out. That was like one time coming home with like money like on the table, like like I'm actually helping my family, contributing. But they say it's like, oh, this is a bad way to make money. You're worshiping the devil and all that stuff. But it's crazy because there's also music ministers in church who actually do studio sessions with all the artists that you love. They're doing the same thing, but we're not living the lifestyle. We're not going to clubs, but they're providing that entertainment service for labels, and they're coming from the church too. So it was weird that how we saw that success in our eyes, and they wouldn't let. So how did you fight that barrier, knowing that our family didn't want us to do this, but then we still did it anyway? Like how did you get to balance that out?
I just did it anyway. What happened was, I started working within the post-graduation. I was working at Macy's in Radio City, and then from Radio City, I started working at this random Russian restaurant / club, right? And it just so happened that I could just use my talents singing 6 languages. And at the time, I was learning how to just this hustle, and I just love music.
Which languages?
English, Haitian Creole, French, Spanish, Italian, and Russian. My Russian is way better than my Italian now, and my Spanish, so don't ask me right now, depending on the song. When same thing like you, like I realized that I'm putting money on the table, not just money. At one point, when I mentor artists, I tell them this. I say, you don't give a young kid money without the understanding of how to handle money. But I was making more than them combined weekly. And I remember when I told them how much I was making, they were like, how much? And I was like, yeah, I can do this. Yeah. And then the second W was when I got on The Voice. Now, even when I was on The Voice, I didn't know my parents knew my artist name, and I forgot. I was like, oh, man, because...
So they just pop on TV, like, what?
It was funny
Is
because
this her son? Oh my God!
No, she was on the interview. Like she.
Oh yeah, they came to your house. They went to the house. They went to the house. Yeah, that's true.
And they flew to Cali, and it was like, I was like, oh wait, because I mean, my parents after a while they couldn't tell me anything. I graduated. You asked me to do what you needed me to do. I graduated.
Where you graduated from?
City College of New York. I got a BA in psychology and Jewish studies.
See, we still had to overachieve. We still had to go to school. So this was not like a hobby. We had to appease our parents. Okay, now I'm gonna do my life. So you did that, and so where was that point where you feel like, okay, they see you as the man, and like, okay, you could do whatever you want. Like, has that happened?
When they realized that I wasn't like a knucklehead, I think that's what it was. When they realized I wasn't a knucklehead, and they said, okay, you look like you're serious about this. Cool, do what you need to do. And I mean, for the most part, my parents are very laissez-faire. You know, maybe to a fault sometime. But that was when...
Your parents are actually cool.
They are cool.
They're super cool. Your dad, too, he was like...
I blame my dad. I'm like... I blame my dad for being a musician or artist. Like, he was playing... I mean, it's funny. Like, in a similar house, so I think if my mom were just to say, we can't listen to certain things, it was just my mom, then I wouldn't have been exposed. But my father, you know, he would say, yeah, we can't listen to certain music, but... Michael Jackson, Lionel Richie, Celine Dion, Stevie Wonder, Gloria Estefan, all these people, and you're walking down. Yeah. So I'm like getting the top tier of pop and certain songs, certain artists. And there are even songs that I know that he must have played when I was in the womb, because for like years on end, I would hear a song and I would know it, but I didn't know why I knew it, right? So, yeah. So that was like... There were stipulations to that. But I blame my father. I'm like, dude, you're the reason I'm an artist. Blame you.
My dad, too. Like, my mom, I don't want to put my business out there, but it's my podcast. I don't care. At some point, I learned later. My wife will tell you, because my mom tells all the business that I don't know to her. So at some point, you know, my dad wasn't really Christian, but at some point, he would I had reel-to-reel tapes. So he had imported stuff from France, like early Celine Dion stuff. I remember listening to, like, everything. Because my dad also was bilingual. He also spoke Spanish. Always watched Telemundo soccer.
Telemundo is Haiti.
We listened to bachata. We listened to Haitian Copa. We listened to, believe it or not, my dad loved soft rock. He loved the Bee Gees. He used to go to clubs in New York. Before my mom was saved, they used to go to clubs. I'm talking about like before Studio 54, all that stuff. So they used to go to the disco back in the late 70s. This is before I was born.
That's how I know.
So when my mom got saved and dedicated her life to Christ, all those vinyls and LPs out in the trash. But as much as what he got to retrieve, I got exposed to all that music when my mom wasn't there. You know, so he would, you know, play in his Mercedes. Yeah, listen to this. You know, we listened to like jazz and like imported music. So that was important for my dad, and of course, you know, my brother. You know, but yeah. So I understand that duality of, okay, we can't listen to this, but you gotta get exposed to that. So now let's fast forward. Now with me, before I met you, I attended Liberty. I was a freshman up to 2007, 8. I moved back to New York. And in New York at this time, it was pre-gentrification, and this is when those guys in the neighborhood, thugs, were starting out skateboarding, and that was a culture shock for me when I moved back home. And I moved right near Church Avenue in Flatbush, right near
where my parents live now,
Yeah, so those thugs that used to be, you know, gangbanging, they're now
gangbanging in skates.
Yeah, skates. And that was a culture shock. That was one thing. That shift. And then 2010, 2011, boom, I got connected with David Mateer, you know, through Joel Basquin.
Yeah, he's our key player.
He's like the Jedi, the quiet Jedi. He was kind of like he actually helped me influence like to production wise.
I can see that.
And I used to sneak in your rehearsals at Complete Studios. Now, we gotta talk about Complete Studios.
I still go to Complete Studios.
You still go?
Yeah.
So Complete Studios in Brooklyn is where like a lot of famous musicians go. So like David Mateer, now he's an independent gospel artist. One time was the summertime, it was David Mateer, then it was Billy Joel's daughter, then it was John Legend's band rehearsing, and then it was Maxwell's band all at one time. Yeah. That's a quintessential New York moment.
Yeah.
And then one time I saw this guy from like all in one time. Like literally, you could just be rehearsing and
And that was a time in New York City too. When
it was hot.
When there were a
It
lot
was
of
hot,
studios.
hot. Like
That-
Robert
that's when New York City
Glasper
was hot.
Yeah, Robert Glasper was playing organ, and it was funny. It's like I didn't know what Robert Glasper was until, of course, 2014. He played at the Apple Store.
Yeah.
It's just a New York moment. It's like it doesn't matter because
It's a rehearsal studio,
It's a rehearsal
but
studio.
also a recording studio.
and a
depending
hangout
where-
spot.
Definitely.
So we got exposed to all that. Even I'll say in my mid 20s, like 20s. So being that we were already around those people and stuff. Now this is 2000 and let's say 2014. I know this is when you started playing guitar because I remember.
Well, taking it seriously, because I mean, I played for like my entire life, even through high school, but I wasn't like serious.
Like seriously, because I know
I'm,
it was after the time with David, you was coming over to church and
let me try to play, you know, more so. I mean, I learned by ear. I mean, play by ear, literally, you know, podcast name.
Yeah.
But it was through that. But I knew that I wanted to incorporate guitar in that because, like you, I love soft rock, you know, and it's funny how these things are kind of like coming back full circle for me, and how do you make it contemporary in today, or in a way that just expresses who you are, right? I mean, I'm multi-genre, especially singing all these languages, especially as an entertainer, but that's why I wanted to play guitar. But also Israel Houghton from Israel New Breed.
Yeah,
So,
Israel.
Yeah, that's like one of my original heroes, right? And so I knew that I played, but I wanted to at least get to the point where I could play in two keys.
Play and sing. Yeah.
Play and sing, 4 or 5 chords max, hold a good rhythm, and then go out, you know what I mean? And even then, that still took time, because then I became an electric guitarist, and then even that, I'm still growing.
You actually at a rapper rate, you really improved like quick.
Yeah,
like it was
thanks.
scary quick. It was like do or die. I gotta play. Like I'm gonna play my gig next week. Like yo, I just learned. I just saw. But that's
Man.
great. That just shows our resilience because I remember. It was at the time, you know, I was playing for Brooklyn Tab. He came to our rehearsals because Jose was the director. So he'll come. He's like, yo, show me something, Finn. I'm like, okay, I'll show you something.
Yeah, you did.
I didn't know he was going to be a beast after that. It was like a matter of like 6 months. He was just like.
Disclaimer, I am not a beast. That's not even me being humble. That's me being realistic. So that's
Yo,
that.
what was the first song you learned?
First song I learned on guitar. That's a good question. I really do not remember. I remember hearing it and kind of playing a song, but like learn down at the time it was probably Lord You Are Good by Israel, and then after that, yeah, that's all that comes to mind. I feel like it's something else, but like in one of the old Motown tunes, but
So
yeah.
now let's get to your artistry. What song on the guitar that you like, okay, I know the guitar enough that I could play. What was the first song that you like written, like, okay, on the guitar and release?
It's funny. First song that I wrote on the guitar and release is actually called "Find Me Here." I'll play it today. But the first song I actually wrote on the guitar and played was a song I didn't release called "Tears on My Guitar." It's so funny. I was like, how old was I? Like,
Can you play that, bro? You have free
Nope,
reign.
I don't remember how to play it.
Tears on my guitar. Oh no.
Oh, you remember that tune?
Yeah.
That's crazy. I was years
survival trait, man.
ago.
I have to remember everything.
Yeah, not me.
I remember you performing that song, and I think Matthew was playing. I think it's the same key progression.
Probably. If I hear
Find Me,
memory.
it's in the same progression of Find Me Here.
I can't remember my verses. If I remember my verses, then I go from there. But "Find Me Here" was the one that was like okay, I feel good, I'm playing the song. And even the story behind that, man, I am 20, maybe 21, and I had the crush on this girl, and it always starts with a girl with the artist, child. They always be like, I'm trying to get to know you. But no, I had a crush on this girl, and she had moved overseas, and she knew that I had a crush on her, right? We had like lots of chemistry.
You're overly intentional. I mean, you don't play games. we don't play games where you're like, yo, like it's not like we're gonna slip a note. It's like, yeah, come over here. We're talking,
Well, not even. You know what it
was?
is?
You wasn't beating around the bush.
Well,
Sometimes
no. She told me that like, oh, she was interested in some dude, and I was looking at her like, You really gonna tell me that you're interested in some dude? And then she told me that the dude wrote her a song, and I said, the dude did what? So me and my singer-songwriter self, and I'm a little chunky, and I'm just like, you ain't gonna put me in this friend zone. So I and that's the time when like iPads had just started doing GarageBand. So I had like the iPhone headphones that with the mic on it, and I put it near my guitar, like on the inside of my acoustic. So it's like a makeshift recording, you know what I mean? But that joint came out clean, though. Let me tell you, that thing came out clean. And I remember like, and even I didn't realize, but that was also my love for creating and producing music, right? And I finished in like I stayed up till like the morning, and I finished in like 6 hours, written, composed, harmonies. Took the mic out, recording the harmonies, you know, on the iPhone, and then I sent it to her, and I was like, "Yeah, I wrote your song. Stop playing." And then,
What was the response?
in the long run, she ended up choosing him, but I had a fighting chance for like a good month.
Hard Lars,
You know,
y'all gang.
But then I love the song so much. I love the song so much just because it was so unconventional. It was a little too literal. And then I ended up releasing it after The Voice, like years later, with the music video.
It's a beautiful music video, man.
I've since changed it because I love Prince, and so I came up with like a Purple Rain kind of head nod to it. You can't really hear the arrangement because clearly it's just me, myself, you know, by myself right now. But
Play it, man. You got the floor.
shoot, okay. He's like, you don't know it. Yep, come on, thank you. Here's what I usually like to do. Between sets, I tune up. Because you only get one good first impression. There we go. 8 hours is keeping us apart. Curse the miles between our spaces. Truth is, without you, life is dark. And you're the light my heart's been chasing. If I could roll the tides, I'd move the ocean floor till we see eye to eye. Our lips could touch and then my soul would feel alive. My mind at peace, my flesh at ease, because you're by my side. Oh no, oh da, love. 8 hours is keeping you from home. Don't believe the lies he's making. Oh yeah, right here is where you belong. Me and you getting lost, finding new spaces. If I could roam the tides, I'd fly to where you are. Then maybe we could try. The thought of us two getting lost in love tonight. More hellos and less goodbyes. My dream is you by my side. Find me here. Take that flight, a leap of faith there. Join me here. Don't deny what's deep inside live. Here, my dear. There's room enough for two if you would choose to be by my side. Find me here. Take that flight, a leap of faith, and join me here. Don't deny what's deep inside live. Here, my dear. There's room enough for two if you would choose to be by my side.